Dan, if you
I'm like a
would like
Guernsey 9.
to give us a recap, because I'm sure no one else is going to.
Sure. Would you like it now?
That was the idea, yes.
Okay. Part 8. They go with Ismark to a very badly beaten, fire-marked, slashed-up house. Looks like wolves and human beings have been circling this place for days. They're led through defenses by Irina, the afflicted daughter of the ex-burgermeister, who is laid out in the house and is very large. They've not been able to take him to the church because no one wants to come and help them. So it's up to us, really. And some of the more observant members or paranoid members of the group notice the bite marks on Irina's neck. And we basically head off with the body, go through town, struggle to get uphill, races, um, of it, failing most of the rolls, twisting his ankle, etc., etc. But we managed to get it there. And we find that the chapel is similarly burnt and clawed and partially caved in and strewn with detritus and the rest of it. And the priest is praying, and something screams in the basement. Something seems to want to feed. That something is his son. And to bring him around to the tough love option of, instead of him killing himself praying at the altar and for days on end with no sleep, that we should go and deal with his corrupted son after his attempted coup at Castle von Zarevich. And we go down. He is unrepentant and awful and beats most of us up in turn. But we eventually bring him down through concerted effort of about 6 or 7 of us on one person. We only almost die in some cases. Reese again going down and crit. Death save conveniently. Then we come back up, and job is done basically, and we've got a body to bury. But first, we kind of limp back home, I guess, because some of us are basically dead.
Very good.
And that's about it.
There was some discussion about whether or how to escort a bunch of people out of town as well.
Sure.
I think personal thing. I think Reese during the fight sprouted wings and revealed that he was an Asimar, and like there was a resolution brought up, but we like ended the session before any discussions took place.
I think I remember Redwin noticed, but chose not to say
Yeah,
anything.
I think that was it. Actually, you're right.
I mean, there was also a turret walking around, but
Yeah.
someone has to have a heart-to-heart with Minor. Like, what are you doing? Go around making turrets, you weirdo.
Licking the dust of dead
Reese is
people.
hot though, so.
It's a sexy term.
Ooh,
Look at those thighs.
look at that long, sweet barrel.
Right, fair enough.
Yep,
Sorry.
we're done with that.
I know we have made, I guess.
Right. So, do you want us at the house? On the way to the house?
That is up to you. You guys could travel back with Ismark and Irina back to the Burgermeister's mansion. It's a bit, I think it's like getting to be early evening, I think, mid-afternoon late afternoon, early evening, I believe, because you guys rested, did your fight, did your no, it's probably right around getting to be dark, and Ismark would be rushing to get Arena back inside before nightfall. So,
How long do we have until nightfall?
few like maybe an hour or two.
Um, I would like to go to the general store.
Mm-hmm.
To the group. Well, I personally need to attend to some practical matters, and I need to sell off some of the items we've acquired. Anyone who would like a cut of the profits, feel free to come along.
I I don't think you should go alone.
Well, I
I'm so
appreciate
sorry.
your concern. Come along if you like.
You look at him and he looks fucking mangled. He's got like 4 hit points.
Have we taken a short rest yet today?
No, we're
No.
fresh out of the fight, and
Yeah.
me and Devon are literally carrying the hobbled
Yeah, he can't
Reese
walk under
down
his
the
own
hill.
power. Really.
Guess we don't have time to rest and shop.
No, you
Maynard's
would
been
not.
carried by his turret.
Well,
Um,
maybe those of you who have suffered the most in the last fight might take the opportunity to rest. But if someone would like to come along, I'd be happy for company.
Is dusk. Is there a blacksmith around here?
why don't you? Ismark kind of frowns for a bit, kind of thinking about it, and he says, I know there was one, but after the revolt last year, Strahd killed him. Didn't want to make any more weapons. But his forge is around.
You do have a very fine smith with you, by the way, Brannock. Can point a thumb over at Minar.
Is that turret still up, or is it like vamped by now?
It depends how long this has been. If it's only like it's up to,
To now, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's an hour.
Yeah, you said you were leaning on it, so you're leaning on it.
Fair enough.
I'm willing to give that to you.
Thank you.
You think you can work whatever excuse of a forge they have here? Sent to Minor, plainly.
Oh.
It's judging on your ability of more whatever is left in this sonic
Yeah.
place.
If the has the proper equipment to start a fire, I do believe I could get something working.
Just
I'll be happy to lend a hand if you need one. At least in the fire department. Fire department.
the blacksmith isn't for la la blah flim. The blacksmith isn't far
Not in speaking tongues.
from my home, but make sure that you're not out after dark. We're gonna have barricades up. If you're not back by dark, you have to find your own place to shelter in. I can't afford opening it once we've sealed the house.
Might be best to do in the morning then, maybe. First thing after dawn. Shopping tonight, forging in the morning.
I was going to say the same thing there, eh?
Well, I am feeling rather haggard after that last encounter. I could do with some rest.
Alright. I can show you where it's at and then figure out what you need and do your shopping.
Fair enough.
Well, when you build rafts, not exactly, you're not going to get fair prices around here.
Well, I have my persuasive means.
You're not going to get fair prices around here.
No?
Nah. He,
What's
like,
that?
well, people are desperate. he knows that people will pay whatever he asks.
Well, I'm not desperate.
If you want something from him, you are. He's the only shop in town.
Well, we'll see about that. You may be right, but it doesn't change the fact that I need what I need. So,
Ismark shrugs, just sort of he warned you, basically.
I appreciate the fair warning. I do. I'll be happy to take whatever wares the rest of the group wants sold, get the best price I can.
I'm gonna look at Dev and with Reese there, because I imagine he's like over our shoulders or something. It's like, you keep this on, keep up, and basically slide out from underneath Reese.
I'll be fine if you want to go. He'll like turn to Devon. Just need a rest.
I'll get you settled in.
Okay. You see his eyes like blinking seems like a lot of effort for him at this point.
I'll keep with you as well, Derry.
Redmond's gonna light a cigarette with his finger and isn't this a touching scene? All right.
Classy.
Begin heading off. Does anybody want to give stuff to Redmond to sell?
And I'm not sure we have it
I'm good.
a lot. We're mostly the folks who've got beaten up.
We had a list of stuff, but I don't remember where it is.
It's in a Google Drive somewhere.
Google Drive, eh? What's it called? Loot? First loot, there we go. Yeah, 30 dragon claws, 2 dragon lungs, scroll of clairvoyance, tiny 2 dragon lungs.
It doesn't.
This doesn't sound like
this
our
is-
thing.
No.
Loot for cursed Stan Rockwell. No, that's not it either.
Yeah, that is can't bring in the loot from another campaign, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's a special magic item.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Someone's tried to import a memory card.
I mean, this list was filled with like silly items like dragon decks and things like that. We're not gonna get much for those.
Let's see. The party gold spreadsheet is empty, and the party loot document is also empty. So someone was keeping
Go
track
us.
of that.
Yeah, I mean, I have some stuff.
Yes.
Hmm.
Most
What?
stuff we divvied amongst ourselves.
So we haven't got that much stuff that like
Yeah.
we haven't like.
No.
Yeah, it was like some jewelry, I believe, and some silverware, I think.
That's what I'm looking
Speaking
for.
of which, the silverware, someone roll me a d4.
Okay.
Pretty sure I had a Holy Avenger sword as well.
2.
You have 200 gold worth of silver in that silverware.
All right, so that's mainly what we'd be trying to sell.
Yeah,
that's
probably
what we're
no,
gonna
you
use
don't
to
want to
silver the
use. Yeah,
weapons.
you don't want to use that to sell.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But there is a
The jewelry you stole was about 750 golds worth, I think, or at least one item was.
Yeah, there
I
was
think-
there was some jewelry that you guys
ring.
swiped, but
It was in a box, and also you've looted various small items.
Yes, I have the stuff that I looted. But like, the jewelry box is mostly, I guess, what I was looking for. That's but 750 gold. If I can get anything close to that, would be.
yeah, the not from this guy. Let's see. Let me find. Make me pull up the death house again. A shambling mound comes out of the wall and attacks you all. Roll initiative.
Oh,
There was the box itself was worth 75 gold pieces. It's made of silver and gold filigree. Had 3 rings worth 25 each, and a platinum necklace with a topaz pendant worth 750 gold pieces. That was one treasure. Uh,
I,
you guys
I,
had some potions that you divvied up, I believe.
Hang on,
yeah.
potions. Okay, but I think that's all the stuff that I remember. So,
There's something else. I will say that as you guys are like divvying up like or going through your packs looking for um, the items that you took from the death house, the books that Minar took from the library have yellowed and withered as though they've aged greatly since you've picked them up. And like the silverware and jewelry itself are a little bit more tarnished than they were before. Um, it's like they were like sparkling and brand new whenever you pick them up, but now they've kind of got like this um, sense that they had been a sense of decay that kind of like had come over them, as though like um, whatever thing that kept uh, these items from aging while within the house itself has faded, and it has experienced all of that time at once. No, the exceptions would be like the cloak of protection and like the armor and things that you got off of the dead adventurers, as those were newer than like the items that were from like the house themselves. Um, you
decades old rather than hundreds of years old.
Yes. For your for Redwin, there were 3 blank books with leather covers.
Yep.
They were worth 25 each that you can put towards your spell.
Those are usable for spell conversions and stuff,
Yes.
right?
And then you had some magic scrolls. Those are fine. The deed to the house and the deed to the windmill and signed will have like faded and crumpled to
Okay.
like be illegible. So like you're not exactly sure what which one was which now. And I don't think you guys took anything else.
I've got here a pouch of human skin with 11 gold pieces and 60 silver. It's black cloth and a chameleon eye patch worth 50 gold.
Yes, those were fine. The human skin pouch itself is a little bit cracked and splitting now, as though it hadn't been like carefully oiled and taken care of.
Well,
The gemstones are obviously in good, like they're fine. Um, the black leather eye patch, the art carnelian is fine. The black leather is just a little bit more aged. And then there was ivory hairbrush with silver bristles that is also fine. And the silver short sword, of course,
that'll
was
keep that.
untouched. Yeah.
Okay. With all that in hand, I will.
Okay.
Sorry, someone's got the silver short sword, yeah?
That's
Yeah.
Devin has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brannick has it now because I can't shoot it from my bow.
But you're
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can give it back to you if you wanted it back.
Yeah, you can't always go up and stab things.
I don't go over this again.
Oh,
there's
that's
nothing. There's nothing stopping you.
I don't want to have this conversation again.
Okay.
Right. To avoid that conversation, then I've gone into the party loot and I've written out as much as I could type while people were talking. So I got the silver gold box for 75, 3 gold rings 25 each, thin platinum necklace 750, a will which includes the deed to the windmill and the deed. Oh,
And the deed to the house, yeah, but
yeah.
illegible now. So
useless.
Oh, they've all crumbled away.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Anything that was like made of paper or leather has kind of aged to the point of disuse. Like the only exceptions being like the magic scrolls and the fine journals, as the paper was of super high quality and they were in locked chests and stuff. The leather armor that Devon grabbed for herself was much more recent than any of the other items that you looted because it was from from a meal for the house. So it
And
had
that was studded leather?
yes,
Yes.
How much did you say the silver gold box was?
75.
75. The box
It's
was
25.
quite expensive.
yeah, silver and gold filigree. Like the things that have silver in them, Minar could possibly attempt to like melt down and extract that silver if you want to get like another thing. Like the gold filigree on the box isn't that ornate, so it's mostly silver, and so. And then like
Yes.
the ivory and silver hairbrush is also mostly silver because it's a silver hairbrush with ivory bristles, I believe, or is it the other way around?
I've got ivory hairbrush with silver bristles.
Okay, well then you've got silver bristles that could maybe get like an arrowhead for Devon.
How much
Seems
is
like
it
a really
worth?
uncomfortable way to brush your hair.
I think it
The
was like
hairbrush?
50, wasn't it, or 25?
And
25.
the eye patch? 50 or
Uh,
25?
make
Yeah, patch was worth 50, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've got written down.
yeah.
And the hairbrush?
Airbrush was worth. Oh, we didn't get a price on that.
Hold on.
Oh, I thought you just said 50 for that, though. Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
but
what I
that
was
was
asking. But
if it's less,
Um,
then you'll be sad for making me look it up. The hairbrush was worth. Where was it?
Nothing.
Do,
It's
do,
fake.
do.
The Antiques Roadshow are laughing at you.
25.
25, okay. And the
Yeah.
black cloth, was that the eye descriptor for the eye patch?
The black cloth was the 3 moss agates that you had that were
Oh, in black cloth.
were
Right.
folded in black cloth, and those stones are worth 10 each.
Okay.
So, can I just who is going to be the party look person, just so we don't have to rigmarole all again?
I was
mean,
gonna.
the reason-
I couldn't figure out how to work Google Docs.
I mean, I'm happy enough to do it. I just don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah,
Uh,
that is for
It's
you.
already done is because
Yeah, sorry.
the reason it isn't already done is because I'm too busy writing the notes for the session as I go along.
Yeah.
So ideally, and I thought someone else was on it, like Declan offered. I put link in the chat for you, Dec, or Dylan, and you can click on the thing and just type in it. And that's really all you have to do. There's no save button.
I'm so scared, Dan.
It's all right. I'll keep a note of things.
Oh.
I've got everything down as it is. I'll just add it at the end of the session.
Okay, I think I've done everything so far. It's in there
Yeah.
at the minute, but if you could keep an eye on it, checks, that would be great.
There were some
Right.
other things that Reese took. He took the cloak, and I think he took something else. I think it was another thing of armor.
I got the cloak.
Action.
Didn't you get an upgrade on your armor as well?
Oh,
A
that
breastplate of some
something
kind,
that
or
happened.
something. I think we had a discussion about druids and metal. I think you got a
Yeah,
breastplate.
I haven't got my leather armor equipped. I have chain shirt.
Yeah,
Chain
that's what
shirt.
it was. There was a chain shirt.
Bunty, fuck off. Sorry, cat.
It's all right. All right, so Ismark and Irina are going to head up to the Burgermeister's mansion, while you, those of you who are going to Bildreth's Mercantile, it is across the street from the Blood of the Vine Tavern. So whoever is going there, just let me know.
It's just me and Brannick.
Okay.
I thought it was the general store, not the tavern.
Yeah, across the street.
Also, okay.
I was
Also,
giv-
Metamain said he might go with us.
Okay.
I was going the reason that.
Okay.
Whoever wants to be there may be there. But as you approach the
Hold on. As we're walking, I'll just say to Brannick, now I'm going to do something a little bit underhanded. It will go a little better if maybe you stayed outside. Is that all right?
I mean, he's not in a happy mood anyway. because everything is dead and everyone is dying and no one wants to save or be generous. He just like gives you the most shitty look and goes, "If you fucking sell all of our stuff for pittance, there'll be trouble. But I'll stay outside."
Noted. Before we get anywhere close to the top, Roman's going to cast Disguise Self on himself and make himself appear more or less like an adventurer, just not like himself. Rather than, handsome, dark complexion type person, he will just be a very typical blue-eyed white guy. Someone that makes a little more sense with his accent visually. And then change his garb so he's not quite so fancy looking, and then head in. And actually, if I can, but as I enter, I'd like to try to sleight of hand and cast Charm Person on the guy. You describe what he is.
Okay. Well, there. Yes, you head into Bildrath's Mercantile, and behind the counter, you see Bildrath, a boring-looking human or whatever, but he looks up as you enter, and go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check roll.
I'll give myself guidance before I come in.
No, you can't. You didn't say it.
Oh. Okay.
You can sleight of hand and cast a spell. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the idea would be disguise self, and open the door, sleight of hand. Charm Person.
Sure, fine.
Okay. I mean, if I can't do it, that's okay.
No. Go for it. You
just do
gotta
the
be.
Grandpa Abe Simpson. You walk in and walk out again and cast guidance and go on a loop.
Your head up at the correct.
That is a dirty 20.
All right. He does not see you casting the spell.
Okay.
What is the save?
My save is a 14.
And he does not make his save.
Aha! Hello, my friend. I hear you are purveyor of fine wares and of the reasonable sort, if negotiations are to be done. I've got some things you might be interested in. My name is Danuk, and I am here to trade.
Oh. Alright, you adventurer type, I see.
Oh, yes, I've adventured all over the world. Found myself in Barovia. Lovely country you have here. And,
If you say so.
I do. And, here. Let me show you what I might have for you.
You haven't been here long.
Sorry?
You haven't been here long, then.
Not long at all. I'm sure the ample charms of your country will overcome some time. But here are the items I have, and curious what you might be willing to offer. My appraisal of these items is as such, and I'll give him what we believe the gold piece values are, but I'll start a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe mark everything up 25%.
And he'll kind of look everything over, and so what is that total then?
Let's do some mathematics. Let's see. So, 25 plus 200 plus 750 plus 5 plus 50 plus 5. Did we get a price for the moss agates?
For the what?
Moss agates.
10 each.
10 each.
10 plus 30. Times 0.25 plus total would be 1,506.25.
Just like that, we bankrupted the country of Barovia.
Yeah, 1,506 gold pieces and 25 cents, so 25 silver or whatever.
He kind of scratches his head a bit, and he's also like, "It's a bit pricey for me, I'm afraid. Uh, could maybe take some of it off your hands for 250."
250. My goodness, my friend. Well, as
Well,
much as I'm sure you have plenty of other people bringing you quality gear of this nature, um, I think maybe.
not as often as you think, but also I'm not going to have a whole lot of demand for these fancy things.
Well, I understand there's at least a few aristocrats in this country who might be interested in some new antiques of this nature.
Not on this village. It's a piss pot.
Well, piss pot though it may be, that does not change the value of these items.
But if I
Well,
can't
I
sell them,
believe
they're worthless to me.
I understand. What do you say we let's split the difference. Call it 1,000.
One, I don't have that kind of money. Two, I couldn't make any money off of them. And three, I don't wanna.
Okay, insight check him.
Yeah.
Oof, that's bad. Yeah, it's an 8.
He honestly doesn't have anyone he could sell these to. You figure you've seen the rest of this place, and his Bran is always grumbling. It's full of dead here. He can't exactly sell a platinum necklace to a zombie, now can he?
Um,
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll take the rings and the eye patch, and I'll give you 100 gold for him.
let's see. Yeah, all right. That's pretty good.
Call it 110. You got a deal.
All right, and he'll shake your hand and take the gold rings and the eye patch. I'm gonna just remove them from the sheet.
Thank you very much.
And feel free to peruse my wares.
Oh, of course. Thank you very much. I will.
Um,
I'll take a look around.
yeah, there's not much here. It's just like your basic local sundries shop. He's got a bunch of signs up that say no bartering, take it or leave it. Um, Negotiating raises the price, like kind of in handwritten scrawls, or S's are backwards on a few of them. Um, but it's basically what you would buy out of the PHB, but he doesn't have anything that's worth more than 25 gold, and the marked prices are also 10 times what you would expect to pay for them.
Well, as long as I've got him under my power for a little bit.
You might be able to get a good deal out of him, but he does say negotiating raises the price. So if you fail, it'll make it more
No,
expensive.
let's
But
see.
yeah, so he's got some basic simple weapons. There's not really anything more complicated uh, than
Um,
that. Um,
well, do you have inks sufficient to transcribe scrolls?
yes, for 1 ounce bottle will cost you is marked as 100 gold.
Whew. Um, so would I need to buy it in order to describe my spells, or am I presumed to just should I just mark off the gold
You
and have it?
um, I kind of assume uh, as a wizard, you would have like the ink required to
Okay.
scribe your spells. So
Okay.
you
So
could
just
just
mark off the gold as a kind of abstraction.
yeah, and so like the books or whatever that I said that you have that you can use as tours that you can use in lieu of burning the gold. So basically, I've given you 75 gold that you just have for scribing your spells.
Well, thank you.
And as a reminder, you do get on your spells that you get on your level up don't cost you anything, and
Yeah.
anything that is divination you have discounts.
Correct. Yeah.
Um,
I appreciate that. But yeah, I will thank this horrible human being for his time and walk out.
all right.
Rennick's been outside just whipping into some rotten wooden pillar or something, just trying to blow off the ridiculous amount of anger he's feeling right now.
I think it's dead, my friend.
Things in this town ain't dead enough.
I feel you there.
Why don't you two roll me a perception check real quick while you're having this conversation?
Sure.
16.
11.
Right. So, Bran, you would notice that the whipping that you've been doing has kind of garnered a little bit of an audience. In the window of the Blood of the Vine Tavern, you can see like one of the who you now know are Vistani. One of the Vistani women kind of like watching you two, and then
I'll give her a wink. Still in my disguise.
you didn't see her.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I don't. I wink at Brannick.
Who you winking at, Brannick?
No, I got something in my eye.
So just Vistonia watching me from the window.
You've
Uh,
garnered some attention with your cracky cracks.
He probably would do. He's gonna note that, but he's not gonna like follow up on anything.
Sure.
You got what you want.
I did, I think. I don't think his pockets were deep enough to buy everything, but I got a fair price.
Ish.
Fair-ish. Be enough to help us in our endeavors.
Yeah. Maybe you have better luck in Valaki.
Maybe. You know, Brannick, while I have your attention all to myself for a minute,
Uh-huh.
you seemed concerned that perhaps I and some of the others don't share your sense of urgency to help the people of this town. Is that accurate?
I mean, the people of this town don't seem to share the sense of urgency to fucking rescue themselves.
No. That might be. Though I would say that self-preservation is a basic instinct of all. And these people are different.
Yeah. But they're going about it all wrong.
Maybe.
I understand survival, and that's what we got to do here, and that's what you got to do when you're wrestling a vampire in a basement. But these people hiding away is not helping them. Where's the blacksmith? Dead. Where's that priest's son? Corrupted and tied up in a basement while he beat himself to death. That mad woman, and he says it very like doubtingly, whatever. She's just wasting away because her child's gone. Everyone here is dying or already dead. I just wanted to break the cycle.
I know that. And I don't mean to argue with you. Well, maybe I do. But it's not because I don't care. Since we met, I think I was the first to warn you that we were probably walking into a trap, but still I came. I told you when we got to the gates of this country that we may not be able to come back. Yet I walked through. These people, our group, we all look to you to be the leader. To be the leader. We're on your side if you're going to lead us. It's not about whether to do good. It's about how best to do it. Right?
Well, I only know the way that I've done it. The way that's kept me alive so far. Played different. But Still breathing for now. As are you.
Thanks to you. Just remember we're on your side, yeah?
Yeah.
If anything defeats us, it's going to be disharmony. Promise you that.
He looks up and down this, decrepit street. I think this place has something to do with it. And I think the longer we are here, the longer we're going to end up like them.
Right, you
Doesn't
are.
mean I'm not going to stop trying.
And I wouldn't ask it of you. Would you allow me to, later on tonight, once we are safe indoors, do some prognostication to figure out the best way to help people?
Gone all night.
Right. I'll kind of toss him the sack and gold I just got, and then start walking towards the mansion.
He will, heft the gold. We're just going to put it into the party funds, technically. And he, without quite, turning around yet, as you're just walking past him, you tell me what you find. No sugarcoating it.
Well, I'll say everything sweetly, but I promise not to lie.
Good. And he'll turn and walk back with him.
Right. Is there anything else that the rest of you would like to do before Redwin and Brannock return? You head back to the Burgermeister's mansion and have the run of the place.
Reese just looks defeated. Dark circles under his eye, blood in his hairline. He just looks like he's ready to go to sleep. And he's going to curl up in the comfiest place he can find, just shivering and kind of hugging himself, begging that tomorrow morning will bring a brighter sunrise.
Very nice. Well, not nice, but very nice description, I should say. Is there anything else the rest of you would like to do? Explore the mansion if you want. Arena is basically and Ismark are finishing up their preparations and packing so that they can leave with you all after the burial in the morning.
Well, I assume the Burgermeister's bed isn't being used, seeing as he's dead. So I'll exploring that and going for a sleep.
All right.
I imagine Reese is curled up on some couch by a fire.
I mean, you can join me if you want, but I get to be the little spoon.
It's
Nope.
it smells a bit stuffy in there. But,
he totally died in that bed.
Well, he had a heart attack, but
I mean,
he was not a healthy individual. He was a very, very large Burgermeister.
that's perfectly fine. After all the necrotic damage I've taken, I'm not a perfectly a healthy individual either.
I mean, he wasn't the salad meister, was he? He was.
The Burgermeister.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Even
Nice one.
even I'm shaking my head at that one.
So
I mean, he's the fat guy, and his title has burger in the name. What was I supposed to do? Just let it go?
yes.
Oh, well.
So Devin's probably gonna go find the liquor cabinet, get the defense bottles she can find,
Oh,
and go,
yeah.
yeah, and go find like a big, stupid, comfortable chair by a fire.
Reese looks like he's about to nod off, and then he sees the liquor cabinet open, and he sits back up.
Sure. Roll me an investigation check.
Your ilia is showing.
Listen, I'm gonna have a drink now.
Some sort of stuff leading to your characters.
I'm not an alcoholic.
14.
Don't
Right.
say it like that.
All right. You find a couple of wine bottles. One says, "Oh shoot, crap." There's specific ones. But yeah, you find two different wine bottles with two different labels, of which I will tell you as soon as I find what they say. One looks rather nice. The other one is slightly less nice, but still passable. You think after you crack it open and give it a little sniff?
Grabby hands.
Would you like to join me, Reese?
Does he really just grabby hands?
No, he's not really grabby hands.
Okay.
He's emotionally grabby handsing. I would think that might be the best medicine right now.
The cheap looking smelling one is purple grape mash number 3, while the superior smelling one that has a bit of bergamot notes is called Red Dragon Crush. Both of them have labels stating that they're from the Wizard's Wine, I believe. Yes.
I want to go there.
Wizard of Wine's winery. The WoW winery.
They investors?
Do they?
Certainly sounds better than here.
I feel like in a place as depressing as this, booze is going to be a real booming market.
I mean, apart from all the vampire attacks and all the rest of it,
It's
and the
probably
limited transport links.
probably the only thing a lot of people live for.
I know that's true of me.
See,
I mean, my character.
it's jokes like that that make people joke that you're an alcoholic.
I feel like it's not.
Also, you're slurring your words a little bit.
That could be all
Take a
part of
second,
the
everyone.
character.
Reese is not feeling well, and I am portraying that as
Mhm.
best I can.
Sure.
By consuming emotions.
Stop pretending you're Peter O'Toole.
All right. So Devin and Reese get a little drunk.
Drunk.
Why don't you both roll me Constitution saving throws?
Yes.
Does Reese have disadvantage because he has 4 blood cells left?
Yes, he does.
4 blood cells.
He got
Good
chomped on.
constitution.
Oh,
Oh. Yeah.
I'm sure massive blood loss is the best time to drink.
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be a 6.
Okay.
Oh, well, I beat you. With the 7.
Yay!
The 7. Yes, you guys get a glass or two in, and you were unprepared for the Barovian, the strength of Barovian booze, as, like they said, it is probably like one of the few industries that do well here, because so many people want to forget about all of the horrible things around them, and you are both like a glass in before you're like face down on.
Yeah, I imagine Reese and Devon, a house of cards, just like leaning against each other. Like, both part of the structural integrity of the other person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good.
So anyone that walks into the parlor where the liquor cabinet was, you just see like Devin and Reese propped up against it, like they didn't even make it to one of the chairs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Reese is just going, this place fucking sucks.
It does. It really sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? It's wine.
Mm-hmm. Guzzle, guzzle, guzzle.
Snore, snore, snore.
It's still light outside, correct?
Yes, it is not dark yet.
I think that we're done. I think that we're done with those.
This is dark, just not, from a light perspective, more.
Okay, so they haven't put the barricades up.
Emotionally.
Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, because Redwin and Bran haven't
yeah.
returned, so yeah, they basically went straight to the liquor cabinet and then passed out.
Great. So Meadowman is out in the, because you said it had like really big, like tall grass around it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically where Meadowman is. He's just kind of walking in the grass, and like his fingertips are like touching the top of the grass,
Mm-hmm.
and he's praying as he walks. Like he's praying to Shanti, asking for. He knows this is a terrible place, and he's slowly starting to feel a little afraid, but he knows that Shanti's going to be there for him. She's going to help him. She's going to help him keep the hope, and help him find the ability to forgive people when they step off the path, or do something that he disagrees with. But we all come from different worlds, so it's a case of finding a compromise. Is basically what as he's walking through the grass.
Yes, I like that very much. You may take a point of inspiration.
I had one already, but I didn't know what it was for. But now I know.
I think because you did something equally cool last time.
It was the kids, maybe?
Yeah, you
That'll
did something.
And then he walks into the parlor after he's sort of cleared his head. He's like, okay, let's move on. And just sees these two idiots passed out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You had one job, Middleman, and you failed at it. You were supposed to babysit us.
So in order to sort of make recompense with this, I would like to pick up the two individually, take them to where Mark's sleeping, and rest them on the bed with him.
Sure. Why don't you roll me some athletics checks to see if you don't drop them?
Can I do them one at a time?
Yes. So you can guide yourself if you want.
Yes, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
I think I can tell you exactly how much Reese weighs. 175 pounds. I don't know
That's
how much
okay.
that is.
I have that fireball thing that means I can lift heavier weights than normal.
Mm-hmm.
I
Gee.
can't remember the name of.
You are a part, like, forest giant or
Giant.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's Reese is like an average weight.
I mean, he's a little less right now because he had so much blood drained out of him.
Yeah, but he's a little more because he replaced it with wine.
So that's 11 for one of them.
No.
It's fine. We'll just give Reese the bludgeoning damage.
16,
You've killed Reese.
Sorry,
17 for the other one. I don't know how you can divvy that up how you wish.
two men but they died in this bed. He's following the Bergmeister.
Odds or evens?
For
Go
whom?
No, I'm asking for them too.
Oh, sorry, on you go.
Reese is odd.
That's good because I already said even.
Okay, good. I roll odd, so yes, you drop Reese. Or not so
Oh.
much drop Reese, more as he was a little bit taller than you were anticipating. His wingspan was a little bit wider or whatever.
He doesn't
And
have his wings on.
Sting his head on the fucking
yeah, you just
Oh, fuck.
like he starts to stir as you're carrying him, and he's like, oh no, and then he's out again as you just like
We doing this cog.
Do I take one bludgeoning?
no, because he basically immediately knocked you back unconscious. So like rather than
So
like
I'm on 0.
Sure.
Death saving throws.
No.
Disadvantage because I'm considered poisoned because of the
As
alcohol.
I'm holding Reese, I cast. What's it called? As I'm holding Reese, I cast Spare the Dying. Fuck you.
Sure.
You're
Yeah.
not
This
dying
is
on
not-
my watch.
This is by far the
Ah.
weirdest episode of the Three Stooges I've ever seen.
PSA, Reese isn't a drunkard. He's just drunk, and that's okay. Don't judge me.
Okay,
I know how you'll get with Ilya.
sure. But yeah, you managed to get Devon and Reese, although Reese now sports a little bit of a goose egg over his
You'll be
temple.
fine there.
You'll be fine, dearie. And yeah, just plop them in with Minar, because apparently
Yeah.
the Burgermeister had a California King.
I mean, if
Well, I
it's
was
big enough that we all needed to carry him up there,
Yeah,
the bed must be pretty robust.
and we
it
weren't
was.
very good at it.
You're not very good at carrying things in general, it seems.
I did just fine.
I
Yeah,
did fine, but Reese fell in a hole.
It would be nice if, like, you guys could manage to carry something as a group and not have something happen to you.
I mean, he could have left us there. We were happy with the wine.
I wanted to make sure you were safe and comfortable.
Right. Anyways.
Yeah, I feel so fucking safe.
Anyways.
And, one last thing, sorry. I would like to also go to the liquor cabinet and see if there's any beer in it, anything made with grain or wheat, something like that.
Roll me an investigation check.
Oh, because I'm so great at those. Oh, I rolled well, though, so that's okay. 17.
You find a nice rye whiskey near one of, like, the back ends of one of the shelves.
Oh, cool. I will pour myself a small glass. Pray speak to Shanti for granting us this pleasure on this day. Sit in an armchair and sip it like an old grand.
And
Wait for the other two to arrive.
the smoky nature of, like, the whiskey warms your chest and you feel relaxed. And then Redwin and Bran return to find just Meadowmane sipping on some whiskey.
They all,
Going to the Burgermeister's room there, eh?
they all passed out drunk already.
Reese have I think Minar just made himself at home.
Ah.
And hearing the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just says thank you to Metamade for looking out for them.
Ah, okay. I was just going to say that hearing you all return, Ismark kind of comes down, kind of like leaves you all alone or whatever, just goes up to the front door and starts hammering in boards to barricade it shut.
I'll go up and help him and say, I've got one word to have with your sister before we all make it through this night.
Oh, she's
Is she
upstairs.
about?
She's upstairs in her room. She's not asleep yet.
Alright.
Are there other doors and stuff that need barricaded, or is it just the front one?
Just the front one.
Okay.
I'll go up, knock on the door.
Irina answers it.
Okay. He'll open it, but he's just going to stay on the threshold, leaning against the door jamb. Back there said something I thought interesting. Said the vampires can't get in without an invite.
Right.
So did you?
I must have. Right? I don't rightly remember, but I must have. Because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to get in.
Right.
I don't remember
See,
much.
yeah, you said made your mind all cloudy or something.
She nods.
So they can do that to whoever they want and then get them to give them access to their homes.
That's why most people stay indoors when it's dark out.
But it didn't save you, did it? And he's not like accusatory, like he's more sympathetic in that. Like his tone is softer.
I remember hearing something outside my door, or outside the house, and I went to the window to look, and then not much else.
Has this house already got all its windows boarded up and everything? Okay.
It's like it was just one of those things. It's like you know better, but you're half asleep, and then you hear a noise and you go and investigate, and it's just out of habit. And but unfortunately, she chose the wrong night to let her guard down.
All right.
It's not a common thing. Him Strahd himself hunting the village.
Is it just him? He doesn't have any other vampires doing his bidding for him, does he?
Oh, I'm sure he does, but we're so close. And she kind of like everyone in every Barovian knows exactly where Castle Ravenloft is at any moment. And she kind of like shrugs her shoulder in that direction. There are
All right.
more, but I think he gets bored. But
Must as always do. He's going to push off from like the door jam and sort of half turn away and go. We have to have 2 people on watch when we're out there. Hopefully, you can't charm us both.
that would be wise, I think. If your wizard has any tricks to keep us safe while we travel, that would also be most helpful.
I'll ask him. And he's going to just like quietly, not slam the door, just quietly close the door and just walk off down the corridor and back downstairs. When he gets back down the stairs, Irina brings up a good point. Red, you got any tricks? Could keep us safe during the night.
I got tricks for days, but
None for night.
none for night. So you say. As you say. Well, fortunately now, there are spells that I've heard of that allow you to create a secure perimeter. Which learn. There might be some time before I'll be able to complete my research into those formulas and those arcane theorems. But
Nothing in that other spell book you got?
fortunately not. The
Oh,
spell that would do us the most good would be the alarm spell. But that's not what I know right now. A little bit of time I can work on it. The best I could do is set Beckley to a form that would be have the greatest degree of vision and perception at night, an owl or something. Have them keep watch over us for a third set of eyes.
sure. Not a bad idea.
But I'll put my mind to it, rest assured.
I think we should definitely do double watch. Irina says something about she didn't invite Strahd in here. He made her. Maybe they can't make 2 people do something at once.
I know a little bit about vampires, not much, but my understanding is that they have you under their influence. They can you to do a great many things that might be otherwise against your interest. But it should be no different from what I did to our friend the shopkeep, which means it can be counted and protected against.
I mean, there's a slight eyebrow raise or something because he just knew you were being insidious and saw you transform into, someone else. Didn't necessarily know that you were before. Right. Well.
And it's around this
When you-
time, in Bill Dress sundries, he shakes his head and goes, "Oi, that Danok!"
they're going to be asking around town.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
ends up back to me, like maybe
Yeah.
I misheard.
Did you mean Brannock? The one that was talking to Mad Mary?
When you get an idea of those arcane theorems, Red, do tell.
Sure. My understanding is the ward I placed on you the other day, though it wasn't useful in that situation, unfortunately, would also protect against charms and the like from undead and fiendish sources.
Right. Can you do any? Has Shanti got anything?
I'm afraid I've called her powers too much today, eh? I need to sleep
Oh,
and...
He's talking
meant,
about
like-
when you're on the road.
Yeah,
Oh,
going on
let me-
to be prepared.
I think
Not
you can cast
necessarily to
protection from evil.
Yeah, it's a cleric spell. It was partially what I was hinting at, but in character.
Hey, guess you didn't take...
But yeah, but you can change it every day as a
Oh,
clerik.
I forgot I could do that.
Change all your spells. So I'm just saying, going forward may help. But I know your stuff is limited and things.
I will-
But try our
I will-
best.
I'll see what I can do there, eh?
Your druid friend might be good at making running water as well, but perhaps not at this level.
Sure. mean-
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
That was okay. No, it's a good point, and I think Rob took that on board with the running water when it was mentioned.
And just as a more of a reminder for Redwin or whatever, you technically have 2 spell books that you can choose to prepare your spells from now, because you got one of the ones in.
But I have to do one. Yeah, I can't prepare from both.
Right.
But I need to transcribe spells if I want to ultimately be able to compile a master list.
Yeah, you can definitely like copy like spells from one to the other or whatever, but like say tomorrow you decide that like the spell book that you got from the Death House would be more useful for you, you can just use that as your wheelhouse. That's why it has like the mage the wizard. It also has protection from good and evil in it, and has mage armor, magic missile, and a bunch of other good stuff like magic weapon, which might be useful.
So it's,
I just realized I have create or destroy water. Does that make it running, or does it just make it
It just makes it.
clean water within range of an open container? Open container doesn't run.
Yeah.
Run. That's true.
Exactly. Not quite
Well,
at
we
that
need to-
spell. Whenever you get your 4th level spells, you can control water. You can pull them up out of the river and be all like, "Fuck you, bitches."
Get shit on.
But as you guys are kind of having like your little powwow or whatever, Ismark will kind of wander in and he's so we're heading to Valaki, Roy? Or I know the Donovich said something about Krinsk. That's a bit further.
well, I
At
think,
this point, sorry, you
Alright.
go.
I think there's decisions to be made about whether we travel as a small party or we try to save more souls. In which case, that might change the destination. At that point, Redwin's going to sort of disengage. You guys can keep talking, but he's going to draw a circle on the floor and begin casting.
Brannick like sat heavily into a chair and like pulled out some wood from Mad Mary's or something that he picked up, and he's just like started like whittling, like just there into the house. They're leaving the house anyway, so he's just started making something. And
Do you have actual wood carving tools?
yes,
He does.
it was my background bonus proficiency type
Hobby.
thing. I don't know. I don't know how Main feels about that. I guess.
Oh no,
But,
he's also a wood carver.
Oh right. Okay.
I was gonna give you mine if you just had like a knife. I could give you. Oh, here's your actual carving, but you've got some, so you're good.
Right now, you probably know it's like a special knife for doing this, as a fellow woodcarver. But he's just started making something, and without even really looking up at his mark, Valaki first. We'll see what's going on over there, and then we'll go Krensk if we need their holy protection.
Velaki was where the toy maker was there, eh?
It was. I was just gonna say that if we went to Krensk, that is adds another. Ooh, let me do maths. It's like another day's travel from Valaki to Krensk. But Valaki might be worth stopping in at and seeing what we can see.
See if we can make it there first.
And he'll pull out a map of Barovia, which I believe I've given you guys before. I think.
If you could give it again, that would be nice.
Yes. Let me just make sure that I'm not about to give you the one that has all of the things on it.
That would be embarrassing.
But that's the one we want.
No.
Damn it.
Of course, now it's going to take forever to load up in my preview.
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Boop-a-da boop. Come on, hurry up.
Boop, boop, beep, boop.
Alright. Do. Let me just. That's the one that has all the things on it. So I gotta get another one. Anyways, yeah, he'll share the map with you. And eventually I will as well.
Occasionally there's just like a big wooden curl or something drops onto the map as I continue whittling.
But, of course I clicked on the wrong... I chose the wrong way to go in this. Come on, D&D Beyond, make it easier for me to give you a map. It's like if this was a book, I could just like hold it up and be like, see, it's right here. But now I've got to find exactly where...
Your impression of yourself is a bit disturbing. Here's where I discover it was like right next to where I already was in the thing. And I just made it more complicated for myself.
I think that... Oh, no. I still had the last thing copied. Oh. Copy. I think that is a map. Barovia campaign. When it actually loads in.
Yes. That it is. Alright,
Let's have Valaki on there. That's nice.
yes, Balaki is on there. Krensk is over there on the,
Left?
yes, on the
West?
left. Yes. I am trying to pull it up so it can be up here as well. On OBS. So y'all can see it with the pointer.
The OBS effort you put in, C, is very much appreciated.
Yeah. Like, Krensk is over here, Valaki is over here, and based off of the rumors that, or the invitation that, Redwin got about the Vistani, they're camped here. Which I don't know if you would mention wanting to stop there to Ismark. but
I
he,
imagine he would be against that, right?
yeah, he would kind of frown and say that, like, don't trust a Vistani more than I can throw him. If we take my sister there, we need to make sure she's disguised. Uh, and then,
I have a disguise kit, and I think I have proficiency.
As a charlatan.
sure. And then, as he's like sharing like the map with you all, he'll just kind of say that there are wolves and direwolves and werewolves that prowl the Svalich woods, as well as hungry bats. That's this area over here, he says. The woods that you traveled through to get here.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. And then the town, because like this, all of Barovia is basically a large mountain valley. And he says in the center of the valley, that is where you will find Valaki. The burgomaster there is Baron Vargas Valakovich. He's a bit of a tosser, uh, from what my father tells me. And then there's another fortified village, a fortified village of Krensk, but I hear that they don't necessarily let people in willy nilly. But that burgomaster there is Dmitry Kreskov. That's also where the blood of the or the Wizard of Wine's winery is that your friends were getting acquainted with. He says with a nod over to like the pilfered liquor cabinet.
Yeah. What
And then
village was that? Sorry.
Krensk.
Correct.
That is Krensk. Okay,
Yeah.
where the holy place is.
And then he'll also say, because you guys, I'm assuming a little bit, he's just kind of lore dropping a little bit, but he'll say that up in the foothills of Mount Baratok, that is where that wizard that got everybody riled up last year. That's where they say he has been
Fled
haunting
to.
of late. But he's mad, so I don't recommend we go over there. Not without a good reason.
Oh boy. Okay. It's gonna be fun.
Just a passive thing that I've just thought of. Have we seen a windmill somewhere in Barovia yet? Well,
Yeah.
the village of Barovia.
You haven't seen it of yet, no.
Do you know where there's the nearest windmill there, eh?
Nearest windmill. He'll kind of frown and look. Because I need to look it up.
You can always count on me to ask you really random questions.
Mm-hmm. No, it's alright. It's alright. Where? I was like, oh, you mean the old bone grinder? Mill? That's somewhere about. I can't remember where. We'll pretend he remembers.
It's if you go to where like Zarovich is, where sort of and then go down directly south of those woods, mill. The road goes to it. I think that's the mill.
By the Luna River or whatever?
No. If you look where it says Zarovich in Lake Zarovich, go directly down.
Mm-hmm.
From there, the path gets a bit curly south of the
Oh,
woods,
yeah.
and there's a little mill.
Oh, I think
with
I
a
see
road
it,
to
yeah. It's on our path, by the look of it.
Yes, it is on the way.
So it is.
There's also what looks like a gatehouse a bit before that.
Yes, I'm trying to see what that is. That would be that would be the western gate of Barovia, which you guys went through the eastern one on your way in.
Right.
And just another word of advice: stay out of the mist and leave ravens alone. It's bad luck to mess with a raven.
I read and his bony raven.
Currently, a spider.
Sure, currently a spider, but not how it started.
We've encountered some of the wildlife here before, eh?
Huh. You could say that.
Well, that's the thing about Barovia is that not everything is as of it seems. You know, you never know if a wolf is a wolf or a werewolf.
But I think you can quite go and kill you. Seems to be the common theme here.
I don't know if bats would be or just regular bats or if they're Strahd himself. The things here they spy for him.
We've heard the phrase "the Strahd is the land" before, right?
Mhm.
Strahd is the lander, eh? That's a phrase I've heard being used before.
He kind of shudders whenever you say that. If you don't mind, maybe not say that too loud.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was what's the word?
Taboo.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I didn't realize it was taboo there. My apologies.
It's not so much taboo, it's just creepy as fuck.
Oh, that's it'll be taboo in my book then, eh?
Barrett kind of like waves the knife towards Medamain and just goes, I reckon don't like reciting the name of the devil.
That makes a lot of sense there, eh?
Whittling.
How long's the journey to Valaki again?
Oh, I did the maths and then I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
Like 2 days or something, I believe. Maybe more. 3.
9. It's gonna be like 15 hours or so total.
Mhm.
So, like, you guys could probably get just about 8 or 9 a day if you go slowly. If you go quickly, you could probably get to Valaki by like midday, but going quickly would, you know, draw attention.
Yeah. Is there anywhere, assuming the worst, is there anywhere safe that we can hunker down if we need to stay at camp anywhere there, eh? Or safe is a general term, I suppose.
And it kind of gives you a rueful look. Um, let's see. Do 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 do. maybe hunker down near Saw Falls. It's about halfway
Mhm.
up there by the Sar. Yeah, but like if you
Um,
all are gonna
that
stop,
castle there. We'll look
yeah,
at the castle now.
just kind of depends on if you guys insist on hanging out with the Vistani for long. How far we can get. They're camped around the pool
Mhm. I
down
feel like
here.
taking our time is our best bet there.
Yeah,
So if we rush, we might run into something unsavory there, eh?
yeah. It's like you guys could possibly. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but make friendly with him. But you know, me and Arena will keep our heads down if you decide to stay there.
See how it goes.
Indeed.
How's me ogre going?
How's what?
Oh, she's a robot.
You disconnected with the gods.
You're a robot.
It's true, I am.
This
What-
explains so much.
What'd you say, Dylan?
Oh, I said, how'd my augury go?
Oh, I don't know. What were you auguring for? You didn't say.
So, Redman's gonna draw, while this conversation's happening behind him, draw a circle and chalk on the floor, along with druidic and arcane runes, like down into spiral into the center, and then break out his bone dice and sort of like clear his mind, get rid of all the biases he has, and establish the criteria for answers in his head,
Mm-hmm.
and roll the dice. And the questions he's asking is, and you can let me know if I can't contextualize it this way, but the way I'd like to ask it is there a way to lead the people of Barovia to safety in Valaki tomorrow? Yes, no, maybe.
I would say that if you say people in Barovia and Valaki tomorrow, you're gonna get woes because you can't travel to Valaki in a day.
Okay,
So you're
maybe let's. Is there a way to lead the people of Barovia safely to Valaki?
and you use dice, yes?
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things like Red when you kind of like have like the dice in your hand and your kind of like eyes are closed and you're like doing like rolling them around in like your palm, and whenever you roll the dice and they hit the floor where you've like arranged like your little setup or whatever, all of your dice have blank faces.
Interesting. So I know that to mean,
Whoa.
whoa. Bad news.
Yeah, there is.
You're like, whoa, that's weird.
It's not so much.
It didn't start blank.
I will say this as a DM, your dice have never like really like gone blank on you before.
Okay.
There's usually like you've got numbers, yeah, you've got numbers that like you associate with your wheel, and you've got numbers you associate with your woe, and you've got your neutral numbers that kind of do like the wheel and woe. You've never had your dice just go blank on you before.
Well, okay. So Redwin picks up the dice, and sort of like turns them over in his hand. Are all the sides? Blank?
As you turn them, the sides return.
That is incredibly disconcerting. Can I roll an Arcana check to try to figure out what just happened?
Sure.
And I will guide myself, sort of like in the usual fashion. 21.
21. Yeah, this hasn't really happened to you before, but like you kind of to where like you could pinpoint and exactly like, aha, this is what this is. Smug satisfaction as I have solved this mystery washes over you. That's not the kind of thing that you're kind of getting. That it's not like something that you could something of a more uh, prophetic nature just happened to your dice.
And not necessarily sinister.
And not necessarily what?
Sinister.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Like they're some sort of force at B, whether it be like magical or divine, was trying to give you a sign.
Yeah, okay.
Whether or not you understand exactly what that sign was.
Or from whence it came.
Mhm.
Um,
But you don't get like any kind of like shivery feelings, and you don't have like any like, you know, feelings of someone breathing down your neck. There's like nothing like making you feel uncomfortable, just something telling you that your dice were empty.
yeah. But bad news for this particular trip and trying to get people out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. So sit back on his haunches, or sit, like kind of sit, he's kind of kneeling, squatting over the circle. He just kind of sits back on top of his feet. Puts the dice away. Still kind of maybe a couple more times before putting them away one at a time. And just say over his shoulder, "I'm sorry, Brannick, but there's no way."
Brennick like looks up briefly towards you, and then like goes back to whittling. And is just like, maybe not tomorrow.
We won't forget them, but many will die if we bring them away. I'll know it.
There's going to be a long silence, and then he's going to go. Whoever's left alive at the end, I guess they'll be safe.
You have to have all the hope that we can gather there, eh?
Speaking of hope, you got any more of that whiskey, middle mind?
He nods to the cask behind him, or bottle, wherever it was.
It's not a sin to drink. Pours himself
Not
some.
when you give faith to the one who gave it to you there, eh?
Nah. Well, here's to her who watches over us.
The great mother of rain.
Aye. Speaking of grain. Redwind's gonna find himself a quiet corner to sit and think, probably. And then once he's done doing that, he'll transcribe some spells, and that'll be my evening.
All right. About how much time are you saying that you're devoting to that? You are getting up at dawn, so
I only have enough time to do like one spell. 4 hours.
okay. Yeah, that'd be cutting it. Are any of you performing setting up watch? I know half of your party, or half of your party are already asleep, but are the rest of you going to stay set a watch, or?
Bran was going to watch, but most people have slunk off to their corners and things, so he'll. And Irina's already upstairs. I presume Ismark is around.
Yeah, he's kind of tooling about as you guys are,
Sure.
until it looks like you guys are settling down for the night.
So just between him, Medamain, and Ismark, I guess. While he's still whittling away, he'll be like, "This place, some bad nights. You think tonight's going to be a bad one? Do you normally stay up?"
Honestly, they haven't come back since Father died, but doesn't mean they won't come back.
Well, I'll stay up for a bit.
Well, if anything comes, none of us will be sleeping, he says with a chuckle. They make
Ain't that the truth?
it's a bit difficult when the hounds of hell are outside your door to nap. He chuckles and kind of claps hand on your shoulder and kind of gives it like a squeeze as if to, like, manly way of saying thank you without actually saying the words.
Sure.
Because you could tell, like, even though, like, you guys haven't exactly, like, agreed on everything that's been going on, ever since you guys have agreed to help him and his sister, like, there's been, like, stress relief. Like, you can kind of see, like, there's a bit of tension that's eased because, like, something's happening to make things either better or worse, and Ismark is feeling that gratitude and relief.
Brent will note it, like, give him a look or something, without vocalizing it. He just kind of gives him a nod. Get what you can. It'll be a long day tomorrow.
All right.
Then go to bed.
I'll spend my last 10 gold to make Bexley into an owl.
Okay.
And then I am broke.
Enjoy that flyby, my friend.
I don't know what Meadowmane wants to do, if he wants to stay up or if he wants to take next watch in the rotation, and then we just, have half a night watched. Or...
Get off.
Right.
It wouldn't feel right not letting you get any rest there, eh? You fought a lot. You fought really hard today. You deserve it.
He looks up at you with that, and there's like a little bit of like a grin. A couple of hours ago he was rolling around in a basement covered in grease and being like attacked by a vampire, but he looks like remarkably fine after all of that, smashed through a banister and the rest of it, and you can tell that that's where he lives, at least now. Don't worry about me. I see them all through this, kicking and screaming.
Even if some of our party members have some questionable moments, I feel like you're really one of the good ones there, eh?
Huh. At least I look that way. And he'll like go back to the whittling, but you probably see like his hand just like go along the huge scar side of his head. I just before, so basically he'll spend his watch whittling, and he's gonna whittle the image of Reese winged. I imagine kind of like one foot is attached to the base kind of thing, and the rest of him is kind of spread out in the wings, and each individual like little feather thing or a big flight feather.
You can have a player inspiration. One roll against me with advantage.
I don't need it, but okay. I can't paint it or anything, but he's going to whittle that, and then when he's like finished, he's going to go into that bedroom, and I'm just hoping that Reese will be on one side, like leant over, like looking towards a bedside table, and he's just going to put it for morning, and then I'll go back to his seat and basically be there until he falls asleep.
I like that. You can add a point of inspiration to the mound that you are collecting from your recaps.
I didn't add the one for today, so that's 7 now.
because you always have inspiration, I'm going to say, because I really like that scene and I like that idea and I like that visual and all that other stuff, you can use that as though it was a luck point and you can make me re-roll something.
Ooh, counter inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, out of you and Meadowmane, I will ask, which of you would you say would be awake at midnight?
Bexley's awake.
Uh,
What
what
time
do you
did,
think,
did
Meadow?
I was gonna say what time did our watches start theoretically speaking?
Theoretically speaking, like most people were in bed like immediately as like the sun went down, like around 8 or 9, like super like 8, early 9. So it'd be midnight would be like 3, 4 hours in.
Mhm. It could be a
Uh,
case where it's one of those crossover periods where Brandon's kind of falling asleep and Meadowman's just waking up, or vice versa.
Do you want
sure.
to do 50-50 then? Do you want to roll a D100? See?
Yeah, both of you roll a D100,
Oh,
and
let's see.
both of you roll a D100, and whoever's got
Okay.
the highest will be the one that was awake at midnight.
Okie doke.
That is it. Oh, it's a 6. It's not a 9. Panic. I got a 65.
I had the same thing as you were saying it. Like, is that a 6 or a 9? And it is a 9. So I got 91.
All right. So
Can
Bran,
I put us in the chair, like with Brannick, basically, so that Brannick can just nudge him to wake him up
sure.
if need be? Cool.
We'll say that this kind of happened like as you were like creeping out of like the master bedroom, and you're kind of on like the second floor of the house, and you can kind of see out one of like the uh, boarded windows. This eerie green light uh, off in the distance. And if you go closer to investigate from the window, you kind of in the direction of the church. You see a light kind of and mist surrounding the graveyard of the temple. And from this light emerges a ghostly perception, wavering images of doughty women touting great swords, wood-wise men with slender bows, and dwarves with glittering axes, and archaically dressed mages with beards and strange pointed hats. All of these and more march up from the graveyard, their numbers growing by the second. You watch as like this ghostly perception kind of winds its way through the streets of Barovia towards the western exit. You see, and you kind of follow like the procession with your eyes of all of these warriors and woodsmen and men and women in arms, and they make this ghostly perception from the graveyard of what was once the Morning Lord, and you see them twisting up through uh, the streets, up along the trail that leads outside of the city. You see them curving around up the mountainside towards that stark black castle in the distance. You see this ghostly hue just sort of come to like the temple or to the castle drawbridge. They cross, weapons raised, as though in silent revolt. You see them assail themselves across the gates to Ravenloft, and one by one fall from the parapet and disappear into the castle.
So if there was no immediate danger, unless Meadowmane wanted to be awake, I probably wouldn't wake him and I'd just go cautiously to that window, knowing all the vampire. And see, it isn't vampiric. I guess he's just uh, enthralled with the Dance Macabre.
Mm.
Uh,
It's March of the Dead, and there's like a small part of you that like knows that even from this distance you wouldn't be able to tell from this distance. There's no way you could have, but you kind of imagine the young vampire that you had to dispose of in the temple, like there was a healthier, stronger, more mortal version figure among those specters. It's not possible that
Hmm.
you would have been able to tell, but there's something in like your mind's eye that includes Doru in their number.
No, it's any piece here.
Death is
No
not an
watch.
escape.
Ah, Strahd's behind me. Oh, he'll watch until every single one of them is gone,
Hmm.
and then
You just watch them assail themselves against like the castle walls, and you can kind of faintly see like their outline along like some of like the tall tower of the parapet, the tall towers of the castle, and kind of see them like falling in like a ghostly stream, like almost kind of like a waterfall of like this green otherworldly glow as they just sort of throw themselves into the heart of the castle.
oh, appreciate it for its macabre beauty. And then, if this was the changeover point kind of thing, he will go and like gently shake Meadowmane awake. Time's come, friend.
Right. You'll go get some rest, Derry. He says, rubbing his eyes.
I'll try. Tell me if anything weird happens out there.
Of course.
And there'll be like a little knowing
Mm.
half smile, and then he's going to find a corner, a chair, or something.
Before you go, Bran, can I ask you a bit of a personal question, Derry?
Sure. What do you want,
You
big
said
guy?
you were a holy man, or at least you were at one point, eh?
Used to be. I am now.
Do you mind if I ask which of the gods you served there?
Yeah, so I said to you before, I lived on the outskirts of a place that Shanti was big, farming place. But I didn't take to that. I took to the woods. Used to be where my still kind of am. A huntress. I was a hunter, you see. Pretty good at it. Then my life kind of changed. And I fell in with the Order of the Black Rose. And now I'm kind of holy to Tia, I guess. Just that's kind of what we're about.
Instead of hunting animals, now you're hunting monsters.
Yeah. Sometimes somewhere in between. But trying to balance those scales. A lot of people, a lot of good people, innocent people don't get what they deserve. They get monsters instead. If we whittle down some of their number, then a few more people get the lives they deserved.
Couldn't agree more, Derry.
You seem kind of sad at this point, and introspective, I guess. It's kind of why I fight for those people out there. And he kind of like waves through the window that he was just looking at. They're doomed. But a part of me doesn't want to let them go.
My mantra has always been that everyone deserves healing there. Everyone deserves a chance to pass on to a life that's better than the one that they had, especially in a place like this.
Well, maybe together we can see it happen. And a strong arm. And he's going to like hold out his arm for manly warrior shake.
Manly warrior shake.
I know you said you weren't much of this. I hadn't travelled too far and hadn't fought too much, but done pretty good so far. And he's going to like knock on your like chest piece.
Mm.
Still living. Still living.
I have to be to make sure that all the others are?
And I'll keep you going, big man. And he'll like his fist like turns into like a palm, and he basically just like puts it against your chest, and he kind of gives it a few pats as he like walks off
Mhm.
to his seat.
Do I know the symbol of Tyr?
It-
See?
It's just, well, okay. You I would have thought
Yep.
your character would know. Pretty big
Roll
dog.
me a religion check with your intelligence modifier there, Middlemain.
Dear. Oh dear.
He actually he has it around his neck. He's shown it once or twice. Metamay won't remember.
I'm gonna use one of my inspirations. 'Cause I don't want to get that. Oh fuck! Gonna use the other one. Oh, I didn't have.
Jesus, Liam.
I rolled a 1, a 5, and a 9 minus 1 to 8.
Yeah,
So no.
it sounds cool.
Damn it. Oh well.
But like, you say all this and you're like racking your brain, and then you like look down around Bran's, and then you like look down around Bran's neck, and he's got like a silver chain necklace that's got like this raised like it's basically the Black Lives Matters fist.
Cool. Okay. And he just puts 2 and 2 together, cross his fingers.
Yeah,
He,
eventually.
so on that chain, it has that, it has several different chains, but around his neck, you'll see that you see Mikey, which actually happens to be a unicorn, which, and then you'll also see 2 silver rings.
You figure
He would
that
see-
the unicorn isn't Tyr.
Yeah. I would question him more, but he needs to get bed. So I notice those, and I just smile at him with a warm smile.
All right, so the rest of the night passes without issue.
Well, Middleman is. I'm gonna nick something from Dan because I imagine Middleman's just watched him whittle, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something nice. He's gonna take some of the wood and model a small chainmail fist with his own wood carving tools.
Okay, very nice.
I don't know what we're doing, Secret Santa.
I know, right?
I mean, I'm expecting something good from the artificer, so
He's gonna
This
make
is
you
more,
a nice whip, probably.
It may become a gift later on, but for now it's just a reminder for him about the other people that he's asked for, as opposed to healing people. Now he's like, okay, now I have to actually fight for people. This is one of the good guys. This is one of the guys who I'm really fighting for.
Sure. So,
Oh, I can't wait until I let you down.
all right. So the rest of the night passes without incident. Reese, you wake with a splitting headache, just absolutely killing. And once your like vision clears a bit, you notice the little carving that Bran left you.
Like reaches out and takes it.
Robot Rob.
The thumb,
Yeah.
and then like holds it to his chest and fuck.
I got the gist of it. You like rub a thumb over it and hold it to your chest. When you do, there's you kind of like hear wings flapping, though it could just be, Bexley in the room next door, but you like to pretend that it's the albatross.
Yeah, that gives him a bit of comfort.
Especially because this sounds like feathers as opposed to uh, clinking bones. So, but the sun is barely out in Barovia. Like it's so the light or whatever. There's no sunlight still, but it's just enough to barely separate itself from the night. And you guys get up with Arena and Ismark, and they're kind of pushing it a little bit. Basically, you kind of see like Ismark is uh, like anxiously waiting by like the windows to kind of like waiting for it to be light enough for them to unbarricade, unnail the door, and head out towards the church. Are you all going with, or are any of you going to like do blacksmithing things early in the morning, or are you all going to go to be part of the Burgermeister's funeral?
I think Minar and I were gonna go forge some silver.
That is what I'm asking. Is Minar going? Are you going to go to the
Uh,
funeral, or are you going to go forge?
Ye forge.
All right, very good.
Do they have to be done concurrently to be as speedy as possible?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that, like, I'll assume that you guys kind of had a discussion with Ismark and Arena, and they agree that, like, getting on the road is the best thing. So
Excellent.
they're not gonna begrudge them going to the forge while you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I
I
have to
mean,
be... Sorry, you go.
oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do I have to be there if they're for silver for my whips, or can the whips go and I'll just be there with the silver sword? And also, if they're splitting up, they might need protection. So maybe I'll end up going. But
Are
I
you
think as
going?
long
or are you okay?
I think as long as we're holding weird doors, we'll be okay. But sorry, Steve, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, like, mine are who. Like, how much time are you planning on spending in the forge before you guys get on the road?
Do we know how roughly how long the forge has been cold? So I reckon it'd take at least a couple of hours.
Yeah, you guys will be able to get it going again quickly with your arcane fire or whatever. You'll have to use like Redwind's actual magical fire versus like your little vials, as like if you know anything about barbecues, if you just throw a bunch of kerosene in it, you just like burn it real hot, real fast, and then it's all gone. So you need something that will sustain itself a little bit. So
Well, that's it. You've got to cook the coal first and do all that. But even with magical help, it'd still take at least a quarter of an hour just to light the forge.
Just like you guys will probably be getting it done as they're showing up getting the forge going as they're showing up at the church. I kind of like that imagery of the Burgermeister being laid to rest in the cemetery as the forge is lit on the other end of town, like the kind of glowing coals and fire kind of getting
kindling fire of hope.
Getting stronger and stronger as Donovich is saying his prayers, and as Ismark and Arena lay their father to rest and cover over the dirt. So I kind of like that imagery in my head, and so it's kind of a cutscene thing. It's just sort of like you guys, whoever is at the church, kind of watching as this is happening, as like Grey's Anatomy style music, crashing cars plays in the background as Minar is getting like the forges lit and going. So basically, the real question is how long are you planning on spending crafting or melting down silver and doing things before you get on the road? Because it will. I should ask, what are you making? Who is it for? And like, how much time are you spending?
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm asking.
Right. Okay, one of the things I'll need to try and figure out roughly is how much 200 silver worth of silverware actually weighs.
Okay. I think it does. Is it 50
It's 100
gold
gold
pieces?
Yeah.
Oh, for one silver weapon. 100.
Yeah. So you're getting like a bit, because basically
weapons.
you're getting 2 weapons, and because like you're doing it yourself and you're not getting a blacksmith to do it, I'll say that there'll be a little bit of a discount, and that discount will be how many silver arrows Devon can have. In which case I will ask for like if you're just gonna spend the time to like craft what are essentially like monk darts, kind of like little shuriken like things with like a little like ring on the end that Bran can like tie to like the end of his whips. It's just so he's got like that little silver slashing bit at the end. And then like the rest of the silver can be melted down for like arrowheads for Devon. And so I'll take a D20 roll. I'll take 3 D20 rolls, and that's how many arrows Devon can have.
Okay. Am I adding anything to this or just straight roll?
Let's see. Since Redwin is assisting you, I will say that you can add your intelligence modifier to the D20 rolls.
Okay. Oh shit, that's a natural 1 straight off the bat.
Oh, great. Great.
Natural 1, 15, and 15.
Nice. Is that with your modifier?
Yes, it is. I'm rolling like Liam, apparently.
Oh, what's your modifier for the 1?
That would bring it up to 4.
Okay. So, Devon, you have 34 silver arrows.
34 silver arrows?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Those can be reclaimed, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I spoke with Jade about that. It's like basically I'll have her roll survival checks at the end of combat. It's a lower DC. If it hits soft fleshy things, it's a higher DC if she misses. Because she's gotta hope that it didn't get damaged in whatever she hit.
Makes sense.
Or like, being lost irretrievably because it like went flying wide. So yeah, 34 silver arrows.
And I have 2 silver whip ends. Cool.
Doesn't increase the damage or anything. You just now no longer creatures that are resistant to non-magical weapons and are considered susceptible to silver will take damage from the silver.
Okay, I'll take that silverware out of our little treasury.
Yeah. Not a bad haul, I don't think, from what was basically silverware.
Not at all.
Some of them look suspiciously like knives for those arrows. Just
I kind of like the idea that like some of them still have like the little ivory filigree or from like the death house because they had like the little ivy that had like the little skulls. So like I like to think that like one side of like the little broadhead arrows or whatever that he made still kind of have the shape.
Still get a little sterling silver stamp on them.
Yeah.
Before they leave the forge, Redwin will just compliment Minar. Very well done. Skills are quite impressive.
This is the easy stuff.
And if you would like to try and salvage anything from this forge for later use on the road,
that's a very good idea. I'm glad you said that because I hadn't even thought about that.
like for you to make your glory box, you guys can.
Glory.
What?
You missed it in the chat,
Yep.
didn't you, Dylan?
What?
We had a conversation about glass blowing, and the fact that the little hole that they heat up the glass in is called a glory hole. So
It's gonna get me every time.
Minar is gonna have glory box.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll take I guess
How about, can I assist and guide him?
Yes, you can have assistance and you can have guidance as you kind of like pull out some of like the like some of the tools and some of like the like while you've got like the forge hot. I'll take a tinkering check, which will be your intelligence plus your proficiency modifier. You can have advantage and you can have your guidance. So you can like basically get some of like the scrap metal around the forge to build you a mini kiln type situation for you to try and do stuff on the road.
Nice. What does guidance do? Sorry,
D4.
You add a D4.
D4, right. D4, D4, where is my D4? There is my D4. Here comes the roll on the D4. That's a terrible roll for the D4. 16.
Okay, yeah, you get enough that you feel like you can have like a serviceable forge hearth away from home. Yeah, your nice little glory box that you can use for doing this sort of stuff on the road. Like you won't be able to do anything large in it, but like if Bran loses his silver tips or if Devin needs some more arrows made, you might be able to get something done that way. Or if like, take some of like the spare silver coin that you got and try to like augment Redwind's cane or whatever Reese uses as a weapon.
He has a bow and a sword and his own fingernails.
Yeah, but
a shield.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to make like any swords or whatever, but you might be able to like silver dip something.
Yeah.
Metamanes sometimes hit people with his.
And you also have
mace.
like this, and you also have like this tool for you to use if you want to do any crafting of your own on the road for whatever kind of items that you need. That requires metalworking or like metalworking, glassworking. You can achieve in this box.
Is there any planks of wood? Like I'm trying to think of what size that would be. I'm thinking of maybe about 30-inch at most.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'll grab one of them. Just a plank. That'll help me for my kind of wood carver type stuff as well.
Yeah, it takes you like a few tries to find one that's not like completely like damp or whatever, but you can definitely find something in Barovia that you can carve into. And if you're getting ready to get on the road, you can just tell me that you're wanting to gather like wood and plant materials for things, and I will let you do such things. And all that stuff. So I think that is probably a good place to end it. You guys did all of your Village of Barovia things. You buried the Burgermeister, and Ismark and Arena are ready to go, and you head out on the road towards Valaki and or the Vistani, and that is what we'll do next week.